I'm Ellie from the Little Angel Theatre, and today I'm going to show you how to make these lovely Easter decorations. Now, this activity is suitable for a 5 to 6 year old with a little bit of help, or 7 to 11 year olds independently working. Let's begin. So, for this activity, you're going to need some PVA glue, some scissors, a little bit of tape, some ribbon. You're going to need paints, some water, paintbrushes. You're also going to need some newspaper and an old cereal box or any other thin cardboard you've got in your house. Okay, so the first step is to take your cereal box and you're going to draw on an egg shape. If you're not very confident with drawing the egg shape, you could print out our template as well and use that. But once you've drawn it and you're happy with it, that's going to be the size of your decoration. So think about how big or how small you might want your egg. You're then going to cut that out. Sometimes it is easier to cut out from a little square than it is to cut out from your whole page of cardboard, and then you can really control how you're cutting out your shape. Voila. Once you've got one egg shape that you're happy with, you can use that as a stencil and draw around it. You want another 2 shapes exactly the same. You're going to need 3 egg shapes to make your one decoration. You're going to take one and cut it in half, all the way up lengthways from tip to top. Okay. Now I'm just going to put 2 to one side and show you what to do next. I'm going to get a strip of tape and you're going to line it up with that cut edge of your half an egg. Make sure that's nice and secure. I'm going to take one of your complete eggs and you're going to line up these curved edges here and here, like so that your cut edge runs along the middle. Press down nice and hard. Make sure that tape's really nice and secure. And run your nail along that strip there to make sure it's really, really stuck fast. You're going to take your scissors and just trim off those little edges of tape. Make a nice, even shape. So, okay. Then you're going to flip this little half over. See, we've now made this little flap. And we're going to do exactly the same along here. Get ourselves another bit of tape. Oops. And stick it all the way along. Again, just run your nail along that gap there. Make sure it's really nice and secure. If, like here, you haven't quite gone to the edge, that's fine. Just grab yourself another little bit of tape and stick it over the top. Make sure it's all really nice, secure. Then you're just going to do exactly the same and trim the edges of your tape. There we go, look. I'm going to stand that up and that's starting to become our 3D shape. So we're going to repeat exactly the same with the other half. So you're going to end up with 2 shapes just like that. Now, you're going to take your newspaper and rip a nice strip, good piece, size of a piece, and scrunch that up. And we're going to fill these gaps here. I'm going to take that into place. Now, over the edge. I want to fill this whole space, and I want to try and make sure that I'm sticking to the outer edges of my egg shape. I'm going to get a little bit more. I'm going to do it on both sides. Another nice bit of tape. It's quite fiddly. You can always get someone to help you if you're having trouble. I've just got some gaps in the corners here, so I'm going to get a slightly smaller bit of newspaper, scrunch that up nice and tight, and fill in my gaps. Just like so. I'm starting to get a really good 3D egg shape now. That's fantastic. So you're going to do exactly the same on that one, so that you're going to end up with 2 newspaper halves of an egg. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put a little bit of ribbon in. So give yourself a nice length. Fold it in half. And onto the back of one of your egg shapes just here, we're going to glue this, stick this in place. Another bit of tape just there. Like so. We've got a lovely little dangle spot there. Now we're going to sandwich these two together to make our full egg shape. So the first thing to do is to get a nice long bit of tape, and we're going to make a loop. So you're going to stick these 2 ends together. So it's sticky on both sides. And we're going to sandwich that all into the middle. Okay, lovely. Now we want to just get lots of tape and really secure this shape. Use some really nice long pieces and go all the way from side to side. Really pull that tape really tight so that shape is becoming really strong. Okay, so now we've got our 3D egg, which is looking great. Now we need to make it really nice and strong. So you're going to take some of that glue and you're going to mix in a little bit of water. Just do a little bit of water at a time, but you do want this quite thin here. We're sort of aiming for the consistency of single cream. Okay, and you're going to have cut up your newspaper into lots of little strips, a bit like these here. And you're going to take a handful, just a little handful, and you're going to drop them into your gluey mixture. Really push them in, make sure they get nice and coated. Now, it does get messy at this point, so if you want to wear an apron, now's a good time to put one on. Okay, so you're going to pick up your little soggy bits of newspaper, you're going to put them on your egg. Like so. I'm going to go all the way around, smoothing it down as you go. If you've got little bits sticking up like this, don't worry at this stage. They are going to get stuck down as you go along. Lovely. Once you think you've got the whole thing covered, we're now going to take a few little bits of the dry newspaper and we're going to put this on top. Again, if you're getting these little corners sticking out, that's absolutely fine. Overlap them a little bit as you go. We do one side at a time. Great. And we're going to take a non-diluted glue and a paintbrush. you're going to paint over those dry bits of newspaper that we've just stuck down with solid glue. Lovely, that's that side done. I'm going to do exactly the same. Now, if you really don't mind getting messy, it'd be a good time just to go smooth all of your ends down and run your hands over your shape. Really smooth it all back. So you're getting all of those little corners of newspaper nice and flat. And you can see if you've got any holes anywhere. Oh, I've got a little bit of attention needs to be paid to the top there. So I'm going to get a couple of other dry bits. I'm just going to squish them over the top there. There we go. That'll seal that up nicely. And again, a bit more glue. That looks great. Voila, one papier-mâché egg. So now you need to leave that to dry, preferably overnight, to make sure that's really, really solid before you come back to it to paint it. Right, so once your egg is really nice and dry, it'll be really solid with all that papier-mâché you've been doing. Now it is time to paint it. If you have the time or the patience, you could put a layer of white over the newspaper to help you with coverage. If not, you can just go straight in with colour. I would suggest if you're using a light colour like yellow, do try adding a bit of white into the mix, as this is going to help you with coverage of that newspaper. Also, we do associate pastel colours with Easter, so maybe try making all your colours really nice and light. I'm just going to paint straight over the top. There we go, because I've added some white into this yellow, it's really covering that newspaper nicely. There we go. So here's one that I've done earlier that's now nice and dry. And we're going to add some details to it. So you can think about spots or stripes, anything you fancy. It's looking great. Lovely. And once you're happy with your design, you can just let that dry. Now my final tip for today is, if you want your decoration to have a little bit of sheen, see how this one's catching the light a little bit, really finishes it off really nicely. You can use your PVA glue again. So I'll just show you on this one, which I haven't coated yet. I'm going to take my PVA glue with no dilution again this time. Really make sure you've got a really nice clean brush and that your design underneath is really, really dry. Otherwise we're going to get bleeding of the paint and it'll all mix into one another. Get yourself your PVA and your paintbrush and you're just going to paint a layer all over your beautifully painted egg. A It's a bit milky now, but once that dries, that's going to dry clear and it's going to give you this really lovely sheen to really finish off your beautiful Easter decoration. Great, so now you've made one, you can make loads and decorate your whole house ready for Easter. Happy crafting and see you again soon. Bye!